Hey guys, welcome back to Metroid Prime. Today we are going to a very hot place, Magmoor Caverns.
Oh, glorious 60 frames. It's like we're doing this in double time.
I know. Yeah. Sorry about the first 5 parts. Like I said, this stuff was recorded like 5+ years ago at this rate, and I must have goofed somewhere in my recording when I was recording these a long time ago. Um, the first like 4 parts of this Let's Play are in 30, but the remainder of it is in 60. So just yeah, glorious 60 frames for the rest of this playthrough. So like I said, just excuse my whatever reason I had for doing that in the last
It was probably a
couple
capture
parts.
card issue at the time, like where you just had the
Yeah,
wrong
it might have
settings
been.
set for your system.
I think this was when I was recording with Hop too.
Yeah, because that thing capped at 1080p 30 FPS, so if you use 1080p, you're not getting the full frame rate.
Yeah.
Like back in the day before I got HD 60 card, I just recorded in 760 because the frame rate mattered to me more than the video resolution.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, welcome everybody to Magmoor Caverns. We're gonna be.
Are you gonna sing the song again?
To be perfectly honest, I can't remember Tim's song, so.
I mean,
It's
that's his shtick,
probably-
so it's probably best left for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one else really remembers it as well as him.
Yeah. But we found the caverns' namesake. They found a Magmoor right off the bat. Magmoor is a giant like lava snake that comes out of the water, or sorry, comes out of lava
I
and
was gonna
shoots
say,
you.
what?
I meant to say lava.
Rock and lava-filled water. My favorite.
Hey man, I mean, isn't basically in video games just lava is just water with a hurt box?
I mean, you're not wrong. Half the time, that is literally what lava is.
By the way, doing sequence break here. You can get this Chozo artifact early.
I like how you're doing this about shooting with a missile, which is the risky thing, because you can't destroy that with bombs, but a missile can.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, see, you can get this Chozo artifact early. Basically, if you use Spring Ball just enough, you can kind of just force your way up here.
This is another case where Spring Ball is busted, because anytime you're on the ground, you can fling the remote to jump. So you're jumping way earlier than half the time you can get a bomb out.
I'm just damage boosting at this point, so I was just trying to get up there.
I think it's also possible to get
just-
up here with just a slope jump, too. So you may just be able to, like,
Yeah.
abuse the physics and just slide up.
Chozo artifacts are the plot MacGuffin that we're gonna have to get at the end of the game. There's 12 of them, and the game kind of expects you to kind of just backtrack to all places to get them. I'm going to do my best to get them along the way, so we don't have to wait and do all of them at the end.
I think
So-
I can just say the general consensus on this one. I hate it. I hate it. Everyone kind of dreads the artifact hunting in the Prime games, because all three of them have something like this.
All 3 Prime games have something like this at the end of the game where you have to collect a certain plot MacGuffin in order to access the final level. And this game is Chozo artifacts. This is basically the best way I can really describe it is think of it as the Triforce Hunt from Wind Waker, and that's basically it in a nutshell. You have to
Yeah.
backtrack to all the areas you've been to and use different abilities in order to access them and get them early.
You
Like I
do
said,
get
that
a
Chozo
hint
artifact.
system for it. Like, you have to go out of your way to read the hints, but there are hints around the beginning area where you landed with your ship that tell you a general idea of where to look, but that's the best you have, and they're required to get
Yeah.
to the final area, which does suck on a first playthrough.
Like I said, I'm gonna try my best. I think I get a majority of them along the way before we even get to the part of the game where we need to get them. So I'm going to be going out of my way to get them along the way if I can, so that way I can minimize on backtracking. If I know they're there, I'm gonna get them. So
Yeah,
That's
a lot of
okay.
these you
Yeah.
can't get as soon as you enter an area, because if you know where they are, there's not very much that takes for you to get it, but there are certain ones we need a lot of extra powers to get. Like, there's
Yeah,
one
like
coming
that-
up in a later world that pretty much requires you to have one of the last abilities to get it.
yeah. That one that we just got, it normally under normal circumstances they want you to have double jump and kind of X-ray visor, another ability to kind of look and see it there. But if you know where it's at, I'm just gonna get it. You know.
Also, I'm gonna jump the gun and say X-ray visor. That's 100% an optional part. Nope, don't need it. Because honestly, you really don't if you played this game and know the hidden stuff. It's like lens from Ocarina of Majora. It could be an optional item if you know where stuff is.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one thing. Plus, not only that, you can kind of sequence break with Spring Ball in order to get that Chozo artifact. I think Metroid Prime 3 was a little bit more lenient with those said plot MacGuffins at the end of the game.
Yeah.
There's like 9 total, and you only need 6 to continue.
Yeah, in order for you to to get to the plot area, you only needed 6 out of the 9, but I believe you still needed all 9 if you wanted to 100% the game, because I think there were some expansions locked behind a couple of those.
Yeah, I think so. Prime 2 is the worst out of this.
Oh, yeah.
By far.
Do you like pixel hunting? I got a game for you.
Oh boy.
Prime 2 is by far the worst out of the in-game plot MacGuffin hunt, because I swear every time I play through that game, I can't get most of those early like I can in Prime 1. Prime 1 is really good about saying, hey, if you can get it, go ahead and get it. Where Prime 2 is just like, nah, man, you kind of need all this stuff in order to even get it.
Yeah, the biggest problem with it is that there's 2 factors. One, you need to be in the Dark World only, because that's where they're located, which that right there is a hindrance in so many places. But then you also need one of the visors, the dark visors, to even see the things that you have to shoot down to get the keys.
And then most of the stuff where they're hidden, you need the last suit upgrade in order to even survive being there.
Yeah, it's so far out of the way that you won't have enough health unless you go out of your way to get like every energy tank at that time, and even that could still be tight in certain areas.
Yeah, Prime 2 is by far the worst. When we check out Prime 2, you'll know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
I think on my Let's Play,
unfortunately, I kind of feel like just in general, Prime 2 does a lot of weird stuff that kind of makes it the worst out of the trilogy.
I like Prime 2, don't get me wrong. I love Prime 2 a lot. It's just, yeah, there's a couple of things I'm just like, you did too much, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of questionable decisions I have with it. It's like, this made this game harder than it needed to be.
Yeah, Prime 2 was just overall difficult in some aspects. I remember everybody complaining about the Boost Guardian, and I died to the Boost Guardian a couple times, but I don't remember him dying as much as I can. And people just said, just don't play the GameCube version. That Boost Guardian is just bad in damage output. I was like, I played it all the time and it was fine, but I can see why people hated that boss so much.
Yeah, first time I played that game was with the Wii version, and then I played the GameCube later, and I seen what people were talking about. Like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy hurts a lot more here. They definitely scaled him back with Trilogy. He does not do as much, but I still feel the worst boss in that game is probably Spider Guardian, because that boss fight takes forever to get to, and if you die, you have to redo so much.
I agree with you on that. Spider Guardian's stupid. I hate that boss so much. Oh gosh, I get so nervous when I was doing my Let's Play of it. I was just like, dude, if I die, I have to do all this over again.
If they just put a save point in front of him, it would have been fine. But no, it was like a save point an hour before the fight. It's so strict.
And not only that, it's kind of one of those boss fights that it's just like, it wasn't a normal boss fight, it was a puzzle boss fight. So it's just like, if I screwed up,
is this a thing?
Again, they just put a save point right in front of the fight. I don't think anyone would have had an issue. But no, they didn't. And that makes the entire fight suck.
Yeah. I like Prime 2, but it's definitely got problems.
Yep. Again, that's why I say I think it's the weakest in the trilogy, but that's just because of its raw design, kind of doing a lot of questionable things. It's not a bad game, but it's definitely a weird one in a lot of aspects.
But I do think that Prime 2 has the most, I guess in a way, unique worlds to it, rather than like Prime 1 is kind of just set standard for most Metroid games on its world design. It's like, okay, you got your, Chozo ruins, and then you got your fire area, and then they throw in a world we're going to be actually going to in this episode, where it's ice. It's an ice world. It's nice. It's just like things we've seen in most cliches in video games we usually see. But Prime 2 actually had a wasteland, a swamp, and like a technological base. I thought that was really kind of cool. By the way,
then you have the same thing like also darkened up because it had a mirrored version of its world in a way, like kind of Link to the Past style.
Yeah, this part right here, so much easier with Spring Ball, because these platforms, the little boxes there, if you put a bomb there, they crack. If you put another bomb down, they blow up, so you can fall into lava and take a lot of damage. I don't know if you guys saw it, but lava does a lot of damage. Still.
Yeah, even with the Verity suit, this could easily kill you if you stay in the lava for too long. So,
having Spring Ball is a godsend with that energy tank. Just gonna be honest. But yeah, we arrived here at Phendrana Drifts, the place I was talking about, where it's a nice place. It's very cool. Very cool place. I had to get it out of my system. I'm sorry, guys. This is by far my favorite area in the game. I love Phendrana Drifts so much. The music is really good. The area is really nice. And it's just...
It does look like a pretty area. So.
It's very calming and relaxing.
Yeah, graphically, too, this area looks really nice for GameCube standards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this whole game for GameCube standards looks really nice. Although, you can definitely see textures haven't aged as gracefully nowadays, because they are a little muddy.
They are. But this kind of... I really do think that Phendrana, in a way, just kind of shows how powerful the GameCube was at its time. Because I think, if I remember correctly, GameCube was like the strongest console out of all of them besides the Xbox.
Yeah, I was going to say, Xbox is slightly more powerful than GameCube, but GameCube was very high-end for its time. Like, when you got a game that took advantage of its hardware, you got really good-looking things like Metroid Prime out of it. And this game doesn't have a falter in the frame rate either. Like, it's a locked 60 from start to finish, and it looks like this. For this being released in like the early 2000s, that was very impressive.
I think this came out in 2002, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it wasn't too long after the GameCube.
Yeah. Radon detected. We have to destroy with missiles here. Yeah, scan this thing right here in order to open the door above it.
They'd like for you to use your Morph Ball to get close enough to that, but your scan visor has such a range to it, you don't need to.
Yeah,
that makes the whole section kind of useless.
Yeah, I really love Phendrana Drifts. I actually used it for when I was streaming. I used it quite a bit for my intermission themes and stuff like that, because the theme is really nice and relaxing.
Yeah, music here is very good.
Probably one of my top 10 favorite tracks in video games. I can definitely say that this is probably one of my favorites.
Dang, I just have to recover from the bitrate loss there. Those enemies, man. When you get near those electrical sphere enemies, they just distort your vision. But when you're trying to record this for compressed online videos, those are one of the worst enemies to run into. Because rip bitrate.
Yeah. Rip the bitrate. Yeah, that's for sure.
I don't know if my experience when I streamed Spark the Electric Jester, I watched back those VODs from the Twitch stream, and oh god, there's certain sections you can't see because of that stupid television effect.
It's like, who thought that was a good idea? They ruined everything. Sheegoths are kind of cool enemies. I didn't mean to pun there, but they
Sure you did.
you gotta attack their back. Their back is their weak point. And they'll kind of try to charge at you to bite you and blow ice at you. So,
yeah, they're more armored enemies because of that. But you can like use your missiles to kind of kill them a little bit quicker too. Like if you just spam missile fire. Because there's a trick in this game to like spam missiles. Depending on the version you play, makes it easier or harder. Like it's super easy on GameCube. You just go YA, like shoot missile button and then the proper shoot button. And then Wii, it's like down because you have to hit the down button on the D-pad to shoot missile, and then it's like whatever you have your shoot button mapped to, like A or B. So if it's mapped to A, it's like down A, and you just spam it.
Yeah.
Which kills enemies super fast.
There's a way to get out of bounds in Phendrana Drifts, and I think it's in this room or the next room over, where if you jump on a certain texture, Samus can go out of bounds of the map.
Yeah.
And she can fall and like kind of like sequence break. I think they use it for speedrunning a lot.
Yeah, it's like one of the many out of bounds areas that you can just easily get to in the game.
Yeah.
Because this game, it's very well programmed in a lot of areas, and also not. And one of them is the out of bounds sections, because holy crap, it's so easy to get out of bounds in certain areas in this game.
Yeah.
I think I've done that once by accident.
I always love finding glitches in games sometimes. Like, not like how it was when we were playing MGS3 the other night, Amber, where we glitched the boss and it just didn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I really don't. I've never seen that happen in that game as many times as I played that game. I've been playing it since the PS2 days, so why?
Sometimes you just have to ask yourself why. What happened?
Sometimes stuff just happens, and it's hard to replicate.
I think it's in this room.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's here.
Yeah. There's an enemy variant of a Shriek Bat that you have to scan. If you're playing NTSC GameCube version, scan it now, because if you don't, they disappear forever after a certain point in the game.
Yeah, this was something that was bugged originally, because the Shriek Bats in this section, I guess like they had the wrong flag set for them, where it was like, I guess, set for one of the later boss fights in the game or something. So once that boss was killed, and these guys disappeared forever. And this was fixed for PAL onwards.
Yeah, there they are. The Ice Shriek Bats. Be sure to scan these if you're playing GameCube version. I think they fixed it in the Trilogy version.
Yeah, because again, they fixed this with the PAL GameCube release, and since it's based on PAL, this has that same fix, just like Flargra.
It seems like the PAL's a definitive way to play this game, because there's a lot of bugs.
In terms of the bug fixes, yes, but not in any other way. Because the definitive way is this, the Wii port.
Yeah.
For that reason.
The definitive way is the Wii port. But
no way you're gonna want to play this game in 50 hertz. Use the 60 hertz mode.
But yeah, that's the PAL version is the PAL version of the game, not the actual, like, you know what I mean. The PAL, they based the Trilogy version off the PAL version because they fixed a lot of things from the NTSC version, because the NTSC version had a lot of problems.
Yeah, because keep in mind, this was made by a company based out of the United States, so the North American release of this game was the first release. This is normally not a thing for a lot of Nintendo games, but this is like one of those exceptions, because Retro is based in the States.
Yeah.
Which is why the North American like 1.0 version is considered like the glitchiest one, because it was the first release. Which is why everyone loves to speedrun
it. That's why you got, you know, the getting Space Jump boots early, Flarga's music being ruined, the Shriek Bat, the Ice Shriek Bat things. There was a lot of problems.
Although there's like one thing about that version specifically I do prefer, and we'll see it later on, is that like the cutscene you get for getting one of your suits was changed in a later version, and I prefer the original cutscene. I think it's just so much better. Because the new one just looks like Samus is bored and like, what is this? Is this a suit? Well, the original cutscene made it look like super tough and like she was taking advantage of like, here's a new suit. Yeah, I gotta flex. Like it just had more personality.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of prefer that one too. But we got Boost Ball. Now we can play Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Basically, what this does is it gives your Morph Ball a boost, and you can ride half pipes with it in order to gain new areas. So,
I would love for a mod of this game to replace the Morph Ball with a skateboard, so that the half pipes would be legit like skateboard half pipes and be hilarious.
That would be funny. Somebody should mod PC version of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake. They should mod it to just have Samus's Morph Ball.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because hey, they have mods for a lot of other things. I wouldn't be surprised if that game already has a mod for like Shrek and Spider-Man for like the other Tony Hawk games that just kind of restore them.
But yeah, I like Boost Ball. Boost Ball is another really good ability to have because you could do this. You just get past all these things, go through these hallways really quickly. It's basically a speed run.
Yeah. This is your fastest form of movement in this game because you don't have Speed Booster in Metroid Prime. That's a power that's absent from this game.
I think it's not in all Metroid games, Metroid Prime games. They don't have speed boosters.
Yeah.
Because
it would be kind of weird to do that in first person. It would probably make a lot of people motion sick.
Here we are, Big Bad Ridley.
I mean, is it really that much of a surprise?
Yeah.
We knew he was from this planet. That's the whole reason why we came here. We just didn't know where he was until now. And still don't know where he is because he's just here for a minute and gone, and then we don't see him again for another couple hours.
It always felt kind of strange to me because I was just like, it looks like in that shadow, that one cutscene that Ridley was a lot bigger than he actually is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of funny. At one point in the cutscene, it looks like his shadow isn't moving at all, like the wings. So it just looks like he's just kind of gliding in the air, but not descending.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ridley's weird, man.
Yeah.